Finance Committee to order, please. Unless there are changes, I need approval of the agenda. Support. A motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Move on to item 3, public comment. Is there any public comment? Apparently there's no public comment. So we'll go on to item 4, committee items. Item A, the minutes from January 12th, 2015. Need approval of the minutes if there are no changes.
So moved.
Have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Next up, item B, the land bank report. Looks like we don't have one. We'll have to invite her next month. Mike, should we invite her next month or what? Okay. We'll move on to that. Item C, the sheriff patrol vehicle purchase.
Oh. Now you're doing my support. Hey, that's right, you're supposed to bust this.
Good morning.
Welcome, Sheriff.
Myself and Director Shealy, have an item for you to purchase patrol vehicles. These are all budgeted through the capital fund with the exception of one that was total in a traffic crash, not at fault traffic crash. That money's been restored back to the capital fund, so essentially all the funds are there. As you recall, last year, part of the budget drawback for the 2014 budget was we only purchased 2 vehicles. We have obviously a number of contracts where those vehicle costs and vehicle maintenance costs are built into there. So we're looking for approval and authorization to move forward on purchase of these vehicles outlined in this document.
Thank you, Chris. Commissioner Elwell.
Just a couple of questions. First of all, on the 3rd page of the document, it's got in the recommended replacement summary to do 3 of the utilities, 4 Chargers, and 1 Chevrolet Impala, but I think that's meant to be a Taurus, is it not?
It is. I apologize for that oversight. The motion requested summation in the first paragraph is correct.
Great.
The police interceptors, Chargers, and the Ford Taurus.
And then also by my count, it looks like we're replacing 6 vehicles with 8. Are there 2 others that are coming out of service somewheres or not?
We're looking for the approval to purchase 8 vehicles. 5 will be put out of service. Sandstone Township never successfully was a designated vehicle because of a number of things, either traffic crashes, vehicle breakdowns, etc. Jackson College was provided a vehicle that's going out of service. They were never designated a vehicle, and then obviously, depending on what happens next with Norval, that will need a designated vehicle. So 8 purchased, 5 going out because of 3 Sandstone, Jackson College, and then hopefully Norval.
I'd move the request.
A motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have item D, the sheriff's to approve. We're asked to approve the law enforcement service contract with Norval Township. Welcome, Sheriff.
Thank you. As you can see, we have a contract with Norval. Norval Board approved that last month for 24 hours of service per week. That covers about 60% of an FTE. What we're asking for is to replace with a full FTE, keeping in mind we have a couple other things coming down the pipe that could potentially bring in additional revenue, and the $80,000 additional deputy that was approved several years ago that was never, as you may know, we've never used that money either. And I am cognizant of the fact that we've got some budget issues coming up in 2016 as well, and know that I need to be flexible, but I'm asking for approval of a full-time equivalent that I can bring in and train and equip properly. And I'm guaranteeing that I'll have the revenue for you for that position. I guess I'm just asking for approval and a little bit leeway here so that we can get somebody in and trained.
Thank you. Commissioner Elwell.
A couple of things quickly. It's no secret, I think, that my agency also bid on the contract, and there's been conversation here that I should probably abstain from this because of that. I'm supportive of the Sheriff's Department getting the contract. Actually, I will abstain from the vote. But I also see wisdom, I think, in separating the 2 issues from this request with the additional person as one issue and the contract with Norval as a second, and I'm going to abstain from both of them, although I do support both of them. And is it possible that we could separate the two issues for purposes of what we're voting on?
Yes, sir, we certainly can. First off, I need a motion of support to allow Commissioner Elwell to abstain.
So moved.
Support. Motion and support. Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The same? Passes unanimously. Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Elwell. First item here we'll discuss, we'll divide in two sections, is a request to approve the contract itself for the 24 hours a week worth of service for Norval Township. Yes.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Discussion. Commissioner Elwell.
Yeah, just one more thing. I don't recall actually seeing the contract on board docs. I had asked this morning for MOU that we acted on. If we can get a copy of the actual contract too before the board meeting, I'd like to actually
Do
see
that
the
for you.
contract.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and support to approve the contract for Norval Township. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. The second part of this approval we're requested to do is the sheriff requesting to hire a full-time FTE employee using $34,000, I believe it is, from the fund balance of the undedicated fund balance that has not been spent yet. Question, discussion? Any question or discussion on that? Okay, I need a motion and support if there's none.
So moved.
We do have a motion and support to hire the full-time FTE. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimous. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. You'll have a contract probably by the end of the day.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, moving to item E, the Jackson Transportation Authority Quarterly Report.
Morning.
Welcome.
How are you? Anybody, do you have copies of it already? Okay. Questions?
No questions? Any comments? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have facilities. We're requesting to buy the prosecutor an investigative replacement vehicle. Welcome, Rick.
Good morning, everyone. We have a request through the prosecutor's office to purchase a new vehicle for the prosecutor's office. This is something that when I first started at the county, the prosecutor's office had a hand-me-down patrol vehicle that they were attempting to use for their purposes. And it's used enough that the vehicle was unreliable, and then they went out and purchased their current vehicle that they have, this 2006 Saturn Ion. This is one of those situations where they use the vehicle enough where I can't see where it warrants leasing the vehicle because the expenses would outweigh the benefits. That's why we put the money in the budget to purchase them a new vehicle, and one that will be much more reliable than what they have now.
Rick, I support getting them a vehicle, and I trust your judgment on which one to get them. I'm not a fan of leasing, so I'm glad you're purchasing, but I'm a little bit troubled by the fact that there was a 2006 used vehicle purchased at some point. I asked the administrator about it this morning before the meeting started, and I don't recall us approving that. By policy, that was supposed to be coordinated through your office, I think, and I don't know if that was before your time or not.
No, that was, let's see, that would have been the previous administrator handled that one. Not to throw anyone under the bus, that's just...
So it did not come before the board as it was supposed to have come then?
Because it was under the the limit. I think that's why it was used.
Okay, and do we know if the title to that vehicle is titled in the county name, and is it kept in the administrator's office as policy calls for?
I have every indication that it is.
And if you want to follow up later and just shoot me an email, that's
certainly-
fine.
That's not a problem, sir.
Okay, because again, I don't support purchasing used vehicles, but I'll move this issue.
Motion and support. I just have a question. Rick, can't we find another Saturn?
Saturns are unique. You can get one and it'll last for 200,000 miles, or in this case, and also with my parents, they don't get over 50,000 and they start falling apart. It's really luck of the draw. But again, this is why I don't support buying used vehicles for county use.
I think we're better served with a Chevrolet.
We really are.
Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? None? Thank you. You have your car?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And still on facilities items, the clerk's office project, need to talk about that. Go ahead.
Sure. As mentioned in the study session, we're requesting the approval of reallocation of $322,006 from the 2014 capital improvement budget carryover to the 2015 line for the clerk's office project.
Ken, you're requesting $172,000 and some change? The balance of the,
The balance of
Yes.
the original.
thank you. Any questions, discussion? Not any motion and support?
Support.
We have a motion and support. Thank you, commissioners. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have, as soon as I get there, we have finance report for the month of December. Welcome, Jim.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. What we're presenting is the preliminary financial statements for the period ended December 31st of 14. The results so far, if we look at the expenditure side, the majority of the expenditures are in. There's a few more 2014 expenditures there. I have requested that departments submit those as soon as possible. So it appears that we are over 500,000 under budget, underspent, which is to the good. On the revenue side, there's additional closeout work that needs to be done, additional revenues to be recorded. The most significant one is the property tax receivables, which could amount to $1.7 million. And there's also additional revenue from grants and service contracts that needs to be recorded for the year. So in terms of the results, if these revenues come in as anticipated, we would perhaps be 500,000 to 600,000 reduction of fund balance. Our budget, I believe, we budgeted use of fund balance of around 400,000. So we're a little bit short of that goal at this point. But again, I must emphasize that these are preliminary numbers and additional adjustments are to be recorded.
Questions, discussion? Commissioner Elwell.
Jim, a couple of things on the 6-page document that we've got. I think it's page 2 of the document. You've got it listed as, or noted as the Blackstone Complex Maintenance, and you've got a side note that property sold. I'm assuming you mean Woolworth is the line it's supposed to be?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And then looking at the J. Financials, trying to get to that page, I think it's page 6. Yeah, page 6, the top of it. We had budgeted 19,229. The actual expenditures were 21,334, 110%.
There is, part of the issue there is there are capital expenditures that JDOT includes in their expenditures close to $1 million.
Close to $1 million, you said?
Close to that, yes, around 800,000, I believe. That's included in the actual, but we budget that separately, so that was not in the 19 million. In addition to that, though, that still means they're over budget, which I've asked questions there as to see what the issue is there. If you recall, we just had a budget amendment last month, which increased their total expenditures and revenues. So I would anticipate...
Refresh my memory on what that amount was, Jim.
I do not, no, I'm sorry, I do not. It was a significant increase.
Was it the $1 million or
Yeah,
not?
yes, due to additional state contracts and other items that were there.
Okay. I think that's all I had, Jim. Thanks.
Chair Chatwell, please.
Jim, on the revenue side of Department of Transportation, the state of Michigan gave us a one-time payment for the severity of the winter last year, and that's not reflected in this number, is it? The revenue side?
I believe, not entirely. I think the state, in their infinite wisdom, is sending those payments on installment plans, so to speak. They did not get all of the money up front. So that's, and again, with respect to JDOT, there are additional revenues that need to be recorded and accrued for the year.
Any further questions, discussions? Thank you, Jim. We're going to move on to, if you hold on there, finance, second item here, 2015 capital carryover.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is our annual request to carry forward those capital projects that either were not started or which are in process at the moment. What is a little bit different this year is that in some cases we reallocated the funds from certain line items to other line items, and the schedule reflects those changes. It's kind of a busy schedule, but basically a significant one, which has already been approved, is that we reallocated funds sufficient to cover the clerk's renovation at the Justice Center, among others. So.
Thank you, Jim. Questions or discussions? Need a motion and support to approve the carryover?
Support.
Have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passed unanimously. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate your report. Move on to item 5, other business. Need motion and support to pay the claims.
So moved.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. You have the other minutes. There are none. March reporting schedule. Let me get there. Hope to have we have the finance and the treasurer. Maybe that was her plan, is to do her land bank a month late, so she can be here to do them both. That will be it. Any other public comment the last time around? No public comment. Committee member comments. I'd like to thank Commissioner Mahoney for stepping in and making some motions. Welcome aboard. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.